As long as I'm not into the hard stuff, then I'm fine to drive.
Almost 2 years now. I'm a pretty good driver, actually.
I have no idea how I'm getting home. I don't usually think about those things.
I'm not too sure what the legal limit is. I don't really know.
Oh, he's falling over. Well, you definitely know you can't drive with that guy. Make sure of that.
Getting together with friends over drinks is pretty common with teenagers. Most of them love to party. I'm Barbara Lee Edwards. Every year, thousands of Manitobans are involved in collisions involving drinking and driving. On October 19, 1977, I learned firsthand just how devastating a motor vehicle accident can be. I lost my brother, Jeff, that night. Now I try to take every opportunity I can to educate people, especially young people, about the dangers of drinking and driving.
The Manitoba Moose like to be involved in the community. Teenage drinking and driving is a serious issue. Decisions you make now can affect your future. Make the right one. Don't drink and drive. So watch this video and use common sense the next time you're out.
You wouldn't go out, have a few drinks, get in a car, and purposely injure or kill someone. Yet each year, real people with real hopes and dreams for the future are killed. Many more are permanently disabled. Their lives and the lives of their families and friends are forever destroyed, just because someone like you, didn't think it would happen to them. David Menzies was a bright, personable 27-year-old, a university grad with a great future ahead of him. One summer evening, a drunk driver changed everything for David and for his family.
David worked in Brandon and came into Winnipeg to a concert. He took my son's mountain bike around the block and was hit by a drunk driver. And it was the impact on the pavement that caused David his severe brain damage. And that was on July the 2nd, 1994. David had a university degree in engineering, and he now no longer can work. He has care workers day and night. This accident has ruined David's life and has ruined our life.
Kelly Menzies, David's sister, remains very angry with the man who hit David and forever changed his life.
When I think about the guy that hit my brother, I have no respect for him. Deep down, part of me hates him.
Although David was not killed in the accident, he is permanently disabled. The emotional toll on his family has been enormous.
He's not dead, and so many people say, you know, you're lucky, he's not dead. But when I look at my parents, they've aged so much. And he just took my brother away. What I miss most is my brother being protective of me, someone to look up to, and now it's really selfish, but I'm kind of scared of him. He gets really angry, and he's not the same person. He would never hurt me before, and now he hurts me because he's rough, but it's the brain damage, you know, it's not him. And I just miss my older brother.
Every year, about 20,000 new drivers enter Manitoba's roadways. And of that group, they are the most highly involved in collisions of any age group, 16 to 19-year-olds. They represent about 6% of the driving population, but they're consistently 12 to 15% of the crashes. And a lot of those crashes have alcohol as a factor. It's our #1 concern at MPI Road Safety, drinking and driving.
In Canada, one person is killed and another 30 will be seriously injured every 6 hours. Drunk driving is the #1 cause of criminal death in our country, and what's so disturbing is that each of these deaths and injuries is preventable. The action of driving a car requires many of our basic skills: perception, attention, judgment, decision-making, and physical reactions. Alcohol affects each and every one. Driving is one of the most complicated activities we undertake, requiring us to coordinate a number of complicated activities at the same time. Alcohol affects judgment, often increasing our willingness to take risks. Even if the alcohol has not noticeably impaired our basic abilities, our emotional state can lead to driving more dangerously, taking more chances, being distracted, even falling asleep. On an average day in Manitoba, police and ambulance units rush to the scene of more than 24 casualty collisions. On average, every 3 days, one of these casualties will result in a fatality. Early one morning in April of 1999, Burl Hansen was taking a walk, enjoying the promise of spring. Tanya Hansen, Burl's daughter, is one of many people who have had to live with the tragedy of a drinking and driving death in the family.
Well, she was out for a walk, and she was struck from behind by an alleged drunk driver, and the car and my mom were found in the ditch. And the driver and the occupants had left the scene, and they left her there to die alone. So they think that she was killed instantly, but how can you be sure? So she died by herself, and that's the thing we have to live with.
The 19-year-old driver of the vehicle was allegedly impaired. Burl Hansen was struck at 7 o'clock in the morning. There were 5 teenagers in the car, and they all left the scene of the accident. Tanya went to visit the driver in Winnipeg's remand center. At first, he didn't seem to realize who she was.
My name is Tanya Hansen, and nothing. So I said, I'm Burl Hansen's daughter, the daughter of the woman you killed. And it all fell off of his face, and he turned ghost white, and he wouldn't look me in the eye. He just looked at the table. And I told him my brother's names, and I told him my niece's name, my mom's 4-year-old granddaughter. And I told him a little bit about my mom. And I let him know that we all missed her terribly and that we needed her. And I told him that I can forgive him. And he looked at me when I said that, and then looked at the table again. And I told him that even though he has my forgiveness, he needs to be punished for what he's done. And he said, I understand. And that was all that he said to me. I guess the thing that I'll miss the most about my mom is her wisdom. I didn't know how smart she was until she was gone.
Dear Mom, I thought about you today. I saw a dress that you would have liked. I'm doing okay.
When you're out drinking and you choose to drive, you're taking a chance. You may get home safely, or you might get caught. Your car will be impounded, you'll be facing a fine, court appearance, and suspension. And worst of all, you may get into an accident involving serious injury or death to you or someone else. It's just like rolling the dice. The stakes are high. Are you really ready to take that kind of gamble?
Impaired driving is a criminal offense in Canada. An impaired driving offense is not like a traffic ticket. If you are charged, you will go to court. If you are convicted, you will have a criminal record. The penalties for impaired driving are severe. In most cases, a first conviction will result in a driving suspension of 12 months. The fine will be between $600 and $2,000. In Manitoba, the legal drinking age is 18. The Manitoba Liquor Control Commission reminds you that it is against the law for people under the age of 18 years to purchase, possess, or consume alcohol. Minors face serious consequences if found guilty of a drinking and driving offense. And you could go to jail. If you are involved in an accident causing bodily harm or death, and are convicted of impaired driving, you could go to prison for up to 14 years.
I've been involved in situations where my friends have tried to pressure me into making decisions that aren't smart. I've set goals for myself to say no. Make your decision today to never drink and drive. It could be the most important decision of your life.
If you're going to go out and you know drinking is going to be happening, plan ahead. Make sure you either have a designated driver, you can take public transportation, you have some alternative before you go, because when you drink, your attitudes change and your decision making is not as good as it should be, and it will lead you to take risks that you shouldn't take. We know that in collisions, for every teen driver that's killed, a teen passenger is killed as well. So if you're going out and your friends have been drinking, don't ride with them. It's very, very dangerous.
Most kids, when they're growing up, I think the first really tragic loss they experience is the loss of an older relative, like a grandparent or something. But for me, it was my brother, which is something you never expect, nobody expects. I was in grade 8, and my brother was in grade 12. He was 18, and he was coming home from a party one night with his friends, as he was getting a ride with another friend of his, and they'd been drinking, and they were going really, really fast through a residential neighborhood, and missed a corner and hit a tree, and my brother's friend was killed instantly, and my brother went through the windshield and out onto the ground, and he actually was alive for a while. They took him to the hospital, and I found out the next morning. I remembered hearing noises in the night. I could hear the phone ringing and people going in and out of the house, but when you've never experienced it before, you don't think anything of it. And I was young enough that I was able to go back to sleep, and then I woke up in the morning and found out that my brother was in the hospital, and he was on life support, and I guess he was basically what you consider brain dead, and they were just waiting to see if they kept him hooked up to these machines, if he would come back to life after a while. But 5 days passed, and they told my mom and dad that there was no point in keeping him alive, so they took him off the machines, and I guess that's when he was officially dead, was 5 days later. You know, to take a chance with your life, your young life especially, young people, you know, for the sake of a good time. I mean, a good time, everybody should have good times, but to take that gamble to finish things off, to drive home or drive anywhere after you've been drinking, it's not worth it. Anyone can tell you that it's not worth it, and I think most young people would say, yeah, it's probably not worth it, but they do it anyway. There, I don't know how to get the message across, except to say that if it happens to you, or even if you let it happen to somebody you know, your life will never be the same again. I always think I've had 2 lives, the life I had before my brother was killed and the life after, and they're 2 completely different things. Your life will never be the same.
There's a lot of misconceptions about how alcohol affects you, and the thing to keep in mind is that your risk increases with every drink, and you can't sober up faster. If you drink coffee, you're still drunk. You may be more wide awake, but you're drunk. If you take a shower, you'll be a clean drunk, but you'll still be drunk. The only thing that'll get you sober is time, and you've got to wait for the effects of alcohol to wear off, and that takes a long time. The more you drink, the longer it's going to take.
I hope by watching this video, people will realize that there are actual people that die and that are injured and that are maimed and their lives are destroyed. It's not just a name in a paper. It's not just a name on a newscast. These people have families and they have loved ones, and they worked 9 to 5. They had lives, and they left. These crimes left a trail of destruction that isn't just at the crash scene.
One bad decision, just one time, could affect the rest of your life and the lives of others. An accident, yet accidents happen each and every day. An accident involving an impaired driver is one that can be avoided. If you're drinking, don't drive. You don't want to be responsible for leaving someone's family with no time to say goodbye.